Hi, my name is Kirsti Gwynn. I am the founder of Positive EQ, and this is the Positive EQ Perspective. So it is Mental Health Awareness Week here in the UK, and so I wanted to do a somewhat special live and share with you 3 habits that just work like magic for your mental health. I absolutely love these, and you can get started doing them, trying them out right away, and you should see a difference, if not within at least a couple of weeks. All right, you'll see a change. So stick around. I'm going to be sharing those 3 habits that I'm just so passionate about because they really work like magic. They're kind of like emotional intelligence superpowers, and they can just make us feel so much better, right? And who doesn't need a little more joy in our lives in general, but especially in this time? So before we go ahead with that, I just want to let you know that I actually have a new PDF out. It's called The Roadmap to Overcome Negative Thinking, and in it I show you 7 different things that need to be in place in order for you to calm your negative thoughts and just be able to live your calmest, most content, most joyful life. So please get that. I'll put a link to the description, a link to that in the description of the video. And then I'd just like to invite you to join my Facebook group, Calm and Content and Courageous, and we just love to have you a part of that. So let's go ahead. Our first habit that works like magic, that is just so magical, is gratitude. And I'm such a big fan of gratitude. So gratitude is a practice, right? It's something that doesn't actually come naturally to us. I think most of us, I love the feeling of gratitude, so I know that personally when I kind of feel grateful for something, it's just a really beautiful moment, isn't it, right? When you become aware of whatever good you have in your life. But the thing is, we actually have to practice this. So the human brain has what we call a negative bias. It naturally zooms in on the negatives more. So maybe you've noticed this before, right? I know my mind certainly does this. It just pays more attention to the negatives, and actually all human brains do this. But it means that if we want to calm negative thinking and we want to be able to feel better in general, happier in general, what we need to be doing is intentionally turning our attention towards the positive things that are in our life, right? So one study found, they kind of asked a group of participants to just write down 3 good things that happened each day and why they happened, and to do this for 1 week. They found that there was an instant mood boost. As soon as they'd done the activity, they felt better. 1 week later, they felt better. 3 months later, they still felt better. And 6 months later, they felt better. So when they looked into those results, they of course found that most people got quite addicted to the activity and actually kept it up, which explains why the benefits were so long sustained. We do kind of need to keep practicing gratitude, take our gratitude vitamins, right, and keep training our brain to stay focused on the good in our lives. But this is something that is so important during this time. So share in the comments, if you are watching, share in the comments something that you are grateful for, something that happened today. So the more specific that we get, the more benefits we get, and the more we kind of train our brain to start picking out and noticing the good in our lives, and that can have a pretty magical effect. So the second habit that is magic for your mental health is getting out into nature. As you can maybe see, I absolutely love plants, and just being in nature is so naturally good for our mental health. I think we're just built that way. We're meant to kind of be outside, be amongst the beauty of nature, and most of us feel pretty recharged by that, right? We are kind of drawn to beautiful nature scenes, sunsets, maybe oceans, lakes, nice hikes, forests, right? Many of us just feel a sense of peacefulness when we are in a park or something like that. So I encourage you to bring more nature into your life, because here's what we know. People who are struggling with depression, if you are struggling with depression perhaps, studies have found that just 90 minutes in nature, so just an afternoon, an hour and a half, right, in nature, shows that brain activity in stress-related areas actually decreases, right? So people feel better, but we also see a reduction in negative thoughts and a reduction in low mood, right? There was also another study that found that even if we don't go and bring more nature into our lives, but we just pay attention to the nature that we do have, so we just, similar to how with gratitude I said to pay more attention to the good in your life, this is sort of like paying more attention to the nature in your life, right? And tuning into it more. So there was a study that just asked participants to not change anything about their routine or how much nature they were getting, but just to savor it, to kind of enjoy it more, look at it more, pay more attention to it, and their well-being went up. So even if perhaps right now you aren't able to get into nature for some reason, maybe you have to self-isolate and you're actually staying inside, well then see if there is perhaps a way to be able to bring more nature indoors, as I have, or perhaps to just spend more time enjoying whatever nature you see outside of your window or within your house, right? So whatever way you can bring more nature in, that can cause a huge well-being boost, and it's just a really kind of fulfilling and worthwhile habit to keep up. So the third habit, let's get on to our third and final habit, and is magical for our mental health, is meditation. So I'm sure you've heard of meditation because it is just exploding around the world, right? Mindfulness, meditation specifically, has just become such a trend. And when we have a trend, we have a reason for that trend, right? Because so many people are finding it to be such a life-changing habit. So here's how meditation helps. There's a part of the brain called the default mode network. And the default mode network is responsible for kind of mind wandering. You know, when your mind starts daydreaming and often negatively thinking about something, right? So we call this ruminating, playing a negative situation or a problem over and over in your mind, and maybe you find your mind just drifts off to that area over and over again. It's kind of like a magnet for your mind, right? So what we find is that when people meditate, that brain area, the default mode network, it's calmed down. It stops having so many negative thoughts, and people find that their minds stop wandering so much, and I've certainly found this. And even if your mind does wander, as an experienced meditator, once you've practiced this a bit, you'll be better at kind of snapping your attention back, being able to live back in the present and kind of remove yourself from that negative thinking spiral, which is a pretty magical superpower to have. So those are our 3 habits, but I do have another one for you. So I'm going to be sharing that just exclusively with Facebook group members, but we actually have one more habit that is also just magic for our mental health. So if you're not a Facebook group member, it is a free Facebook group. So there's nothing that you need to do to join except just click to join and answer the 3 questions there. I'm going to be going live straight afterwards, after this live in there, to share that 4th habit. To recap what we spoke about today, is we spoke about gratitude being just, okay, taking our gratitude vitamin, keeping our attention focused on the good in our lives, and I invited you to share something that you're grateful for in the comments. Secondly, we spoke about nature, right, and how it can just be so recharging and so rejuvenating. And I forgot to do this. I was going to do this. I was going to ask you to please share a picture of maybe you've gone into nature recently, maybe right where you are right now. It's pretty beautiful. Snap a picture, post it in the comments, right? So some sort of nature that maybe is around you right now, or you've been in it recently. And then meditation. If you've never tried it, maybe you've tried it, maybe there's someone here who hasn't tried it before. So how about you post a link to your favorite meditation app or a meditation on YouTube that you really enjoy, and it might help someone else during this time to kind of get into meditation, be able to discover that magical habit. So I'm going to head over to my Facebook group, and I hope that I will see you in there to find out the 3rd habit that is just magic for your mental health. Thank you so much for watching today, and I wish you a lovely weekend. Now I just gotta find the end button. Great, see you soon.